An old Western proverb states, "Some people follow wagon tracks, while others blaze new trails."
Oh, maybe it's the old Western habit that you help out the other guy because you may need help from them someday.
I've heard it said that by some that Wyoming is just one big town with a very long main street. Another is that Wyoming is what America was and ought to be.
Well, it's a really nice place to live and it's safe. Has like the small hometown feel to it. Everybody knows everybody.
People in Wyoming are fiercely independent, but with a shared vision, they see what needs to be done and they pull together, make it happen.
People really care about people, and it's really just the Old West, and I think that's a really fun thing.
Sheridan has probably the most giving people in this state and probably in any other state as there is.
When you look at the demographics of our county, we're aging. So there are a lot of people coming to Sheridan to retire.
Sheridan was the place where the people from Campbell County and southern Montana came to basically retire and live because of the quality of life that was here. I grew up in Sheridan and left for a number of years. My career took me other places, but when the time came to retire and my wife and I decided this is where we wanted to be.
All the world's a stage, we are but players in it. There are 7 stages of a man's life. And I can't remember what the 7th stage is, but it's the end, isn't it?
Grass is no longer green. It's time to shift gears and get ready for winter. Because whether you like it or not, it's gonna come.
Robert Frost said home is the place where when you go there, they gotta take you in. And I think there's that sense as well.
Sheridan is a community of approximately 15,000 people. We're a retirement community. Over 20% of the people that live here are over 60 years of age. So we have a community that really is focusing on older people and their needs.
As executive director of the Sheridan Senior Center, Carmen Rideout makes it her mission to support and enrich the lives of the elderly.
The Senior Citizen Center has been here since 1972, and we've been providing a wide range of services.
Daily, more than 500 people pass through their doors to take advantage of the wide range of services the center provides. Volunteers visit seniors to help them with their basic needs. The primary goal is to keep elders living independently for as long as possible.
Okay, Dorothy, when you get done with your coffee, we're going to go get in a nice hot shower, okay?
However, there comes a time living alone may not be possible.
Anybody who lives long enough is going to get frail. Anybody. And so that means everybody who watches this program. If you don't get run over by a bus, you're going to be frail.
Like many of us, the people of Sheridan struggle with the heart-wrenching dilemma of how to care for frail loved ones. Home care is often difficult or impossible, with traditional nursing homes the only other option.
My mother, Margaret Hellier Howell, had a stroke in 2001.
My mother, who was just a wonderful person, and as she got older, she was sick.
She was around 70 years old, very young. When she broke her hip, they said that she needed to be in a nursing home.
And we moved her from Denver in a wheelchair to my home because I didn't want to put her in a nursing home.
Our home is not at all conducive to somebody with failing physical needs. We have very steep hardwood floors and steps that are slippery.
So I was up 3 or 4 times a night putting her back into bed. She's very active, very anxiety-ridden kind of person. She was always looking for the train to Boston. We'd find her on the street trying to flag a taxi, which we don't have any.
My wife and I have had that experience with my mother-in-law, where she went into a traditional skilled nursing facility and was frightened that she wouldn't be coming out.
Right now in America, there are about 1.7 million people living in a nursing home. And any adult American who reaches the age of 65 has a 50% chance of spending time, significant time in a nursing home.
We want to do everything we can to keep people from moving into a nursing home because we don't like them. They're not nice places. They're places to go and die.
Anybody that walks in the door of a nursing home, I promise you, says a short little prayer when they come through the doors, and it's God save me from this.
Nursing home facilities, there's generally 2 people to a room. It's divided with a curtain, you know, on a metal track. It's a real sterile environment. Lots of smells that come to mind, you know, of a nursing home. It's depressing. I mean, who doesn't have a relative that says, you better shoot me if you're going to put me in there?
She promised her mother many years ago that she would never have her in a nursing home. And you know, the mother has a lot of short-term memory loss, but at 103, she keeps reminding her daughter never to do that.
She has feared going into a nursing home. Since I can remember, my mother has talked about that she never wanted to go into a nursing home.
My mother did end up going to a nursing home. I saw abandoned elders in wheelchairs in halls, drooling on themselves with no one to care for them. It was pretty horrifying.
There was one lady here one day, she was going on, I want to go home, I want to go home. I said, lady, you are home. She said, no, I'm not. And I said, yep, this and then the bone pile. And then she really did squeal.
I found a regimented schedule that was not regimented to the dignity of the elder.
The size of the rooms, the fact that you have to share a room, that you have to share a bathroom, that there's a loudspeaker.
Had to share a room with a stranger. She was already confused. And literally, in days, her mental wellness and physical capabilities just dove.
Showers, Wednesday and Saturdays, whether you liked it or not. And they had to take them to this room that was cold. And they all hated the showers.
The typical day would be, let's hurry up and get showers done. Then, of course, it would be breakfast time. And you would rush down the hall to try to get everybody served if they stayed, you know, in their room. Some elders went to the dining room.
They drag you out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning and you just sit there and wait for a cold plate of liquid eggs with Lord knows whatever else is on the plate.
Tell them that we got some trays out there.
They're in a group dining room that might have 50, 100 people that they have to serve at one time. You've got a few nurses' aides, CNAs that have to try to take care of everyone. So you don't have that family atmosphere. It's more of an institutional atmosphere.
The only other segment of our society that is more likely to be institutionalized are convicted criminals. We have about 2 million people living in prisons. So here we have a society that uses an institutional pattern for convicted and violent felons and our frail mothers and fathers.
There were so many stories of horror that you don't ever want someone to experience.
In America, there's almost 300 million horror stories that people can tell about nursing homes. Everybody's got a story to tell. And the reason there are all these stories to be told is because the nursing home is a relic not of the 20th century, but really the 19th century.
If you go back 150 years, 100 years, the elderly, even those that required much care, it was not just the responsibility, but it would be the desire within the families of the young to care for the old, regardless of how disabled they were.
People with gray hairs can remember a sick room. Yeah, we set one up like that for my grandma in the living room. We had to move the furniture out, and we brought in a bed, and grandma was in the living room until her last day, and we were all there taking care of her. That's the way it used to be.
Historically, nursing homes are a rather recent institution. Before the 19th century, no age-restricted institutions existed for long-term care. People were cared for at home. Churches and charity groups were among the first to establish institutional homes for their elderly in need. Those in need without such ties often ended up in state and county poorhouses or mental institutions. There they were grouped with the insane, drug and alcohol addicts, and younger homeless.
Since the Industrial Revolution, with people working, it was always very difficult for them to take on that responsibility, and so institutional frameworks became the order of the day.
In 1946, during President Harry Truman's administration, the Hill-Burton Act was among the first legislation to provide funding and set standards for state-of-the-art hospitals and nursing homes. Over the years, other laws combined with Social Security and the passage of Medicare and Medicaid in 1965 provided impetus for the growth of the commercially run nursing home industry.
One of the big reasons why old age has been medicalized in America is that when we, as a society, kind of said about 40 some years ago, hey, let's provide some support to older people, it was channeled through Medicare and Medicaid. What's happened is that's led to a massive medicalization of old age.
All skilled nursing facilities are based on a factory model that follows government regulations that were crafted in the 60s, and that was an improvement over what had come before to have that kind of structure. And yet, while from a clinical perspective, just Spartan perspective, those bare white hallways are what the government wanted, it's not really what people need.
Don't take any more on. They said, well, you can't live here alone, so here I am.
Did you have a big garden at your place back in Sheffield?
I did have. I don't have any home anymore. There's only this.
You know, this getting old is no fun. I press that. They're supposed to come. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't bother.
Even though laws have been passed over the years to increase the standards of nursing home care, most still operate on an institutional hospital-like model, with old age treated as an illness for which there is no cure.
Why don't they deserve just as good as what they gave their children when their children were dependent?
I feel most emotional when I go into one of the traditional nursing homes and I see people that I know from my work at the senior center, and I see them in a situation that just doesn't seem right.
The number one thing that perpetuates the mass institutionalization of old people is the naive belief that there's nothing else that can be done. Once your eyes open up to the suffering that the elders of America are enduring in institutions from sea to sea, once your eyes open up to that, you cannot turn away. You cannot turn back. You can't shrug your shoulders and just go off and do something else. I mean, this is a national tragedy.
Dr. Bill Thomas is an international authority on geriatric medicine and elder care from upstate New York. A graduate of Harvard Medical School and winner of the Heinz Award for the Human Condition, in 2008 the Wall Street Journal named Dr. Thomas among the 12 most influential Americans shaping aging in the 21st century.
For the last 10 years, my wife Jude and I have been working every day to reform nursing homes as they exist. Well, that dream is the greenhouse. I want people to be confused when they walk through the door. What kind of place is this? You know, I mean, there's kids running around and playing, and there's dogs, and there's cats, and there's birds, and there's gardens and plants, and I want them to be confused. What? This can't be a nursing home. Right. It's an alternative to the nursing home.
The driving force behind this plan is absolutely the hearth. It's where life happens in the home. Just as in your home, people gather in the kitchen around the dining table where those things of life happen, that happens in this greenhouse. We have 10 private bedrooms, all with private baths, and they are all situated around this hearth area.
First thing is you take out the idea that human beings are divided into two groups, staff and residents. And you start using language and words and so on that indicate that we're all people.
We got a good lunch fixed.
Hey,
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
Historically, the people who work the closest with the elders have had the lowest prestige in long-term care organizations. The greenhouse turns that idea upside down. We've created a new profession, something we call the midwife of elderhood. A Shabazz is dedicated to protect, sustain, and nurture the elders. So the Shabazz who works in the greenhouse, the Shabazz has a boss. The boss is the elder. So we started an experiment in Mississippi, closing a nursing home and building these greenhouses, and we took 2 years to study it. We found out it really works better than a nursing home.
A short video shot during the building and opening of the first greenhouses in Tupelo captured the near miraculous transformation of former nursing home residents into respected elders in their new home. One particularly moving example was that of the near catatonic Mildred Adams.
My mother, Mildred Adams, is a resident in Cedars nursing home. She's had the opportunity to come here to the greenhouse, but in her condition, I wish it could have happened sooner, 3 or 4 or 5 years ago maybe. She's been in nursing home care since 1999.
For Charles Adams and his wife Becky, the move to a greenhouse is a wonderful opportunity that has perhaps come too late. Mildred Adams' physical and mental state has deteriorated to the point where she no longer feeds herself, seldom speaks, and seems oblivious to the world around her.
We was afraid that she wouldn't get in because she was getting to where she couldn't be up and around and couldn't voice what she thought about it.
Within an hour of the move, at her first meal at a greenhouse, Mildred stuns her son by taking the spoon away from him.
I started out feeding her a while ago, because she's been fed, for the last several months, but she took the spoon away from her.
She did?
And she started feeding herself.
Great.
Had a good meal.
That's just what we're thinking is going to happen here.
It's just amazing that she's doing this. She has not fed herself in months, really. And today she wanted to do it. It's amazing.
People who were in wheelchairs are walking again. People who weren't talking are talking again. People who weren't eating real food are eating real food again. People who were losing weight, and no matter how hard we tried in the nursing home, they're gaining weight again. People who, when you walk in the door, you see a twinkle in their eye again. It's almost sinful not to do as much as we can, as fast as we can.
The idea of the greenhouse really went across the United States because of a little simple first DVD that was made in Tupelo, Mississippi. They used that as a tool to educate the community. It made people feel like they were actually there inside that greenhouse, and they felt the emotions of the people there.
So powerful was the short video in advancing the greenhouse concept, Dr. Thomas began referring to it as the chainsaw. Show a reluctant organization the chainsaw, and they fell like trees.
We call it the chainsaw. So it's a little 20-minute film, but if people are giving me a hard time, I'm like,
All right, that's it. You're getting the chainsaw. Boom.
Serendipitous happenstance brought the chainsaw to the wilds of Wyoming. Documentary producer Dale Bell, who made the greenhouse video, had worked as a young man on a ranch in Sheridan one summer. He gave the greenhouse video to the chairman of the Sheridan Senior Center, Pastor Ray Clark.
Ray first heard about the project from his friend Dale Bell, who came to visit Sheridan each summer, and we would have lunch. Ray said, "You've got to talk to Carmen right out at the Senior Center."
He showed us a little film about the greenhouse project. We just thought it was something that we wanted more people to see. So we showed the family caregiver support group here at the center, and they thought it was a wonderful new concept.
We were shown this movie of people coming in from a warehouse, coming into a place that was a home, and such a change. I said, "Sissy, do you think we should do this?" It almost blew me out of my chair. Yes!
We did a needs assessment. We hired a consultant, Keith Wilson.
Keith put his research into a feasibility plan.
My work has been to make it happen from a numbers standpoint without imposing the numbers in as the primary reason for doing this. The numbers are extremely important because if they don't work, the project doesn't exist.
Embracing a radical departure from the status quo like the greenhouse concept presents a huge risk to any organization. That's why all greenhouse project facilities were tied to a larger organization. In the case of Tupelo, this was the Methodist Church, which was already running a traditional nursing home before building their greenhouses. These larger organizations, referred to as the motherships, share the risks and their organizational structures with their fledgling greenhouses.
So they had what is called as the mothership, the institution, and then they could transition to this new model. We, on the other hand, had nothing. We decided to approach the traditional nursing homes here in Sheridan. I met with both of them, and they didn't see it on their horizon anywhere in the near future.
Next, Carmen sought to make an allegiance with the local hospital, or the Sheridan Senior Center itself where she worked. Both proved dead ends.
I remember Keith coming into my office after the board meeting, and I was a little bit disappointed about the senior center not being able to do it because I really loved the project and wanted to stay involved. He came in and he said, "You know, Carmen," he said, "we can do this." He was sitting down at my little table in my office. He said, "You know, we can do this. We can figure this out." And I said, "Who can do this?" He said, "We can do this, you and me, and we could get other people involved." And then he got up and he started jumping up and down. And I'll never forget it. It's one of those, images that will last forever. And I said, "You really think so?" And he said, "Yeah, we can figure this out. It's too good. We can't let this go." And I said, "Yeah, you're right."
No greenhouses had ever been built or conceived without mothership affiliations. This was just a given in the greenhouse structure. To continue their quest meant greenhouses in Sheridan would have to be financed, built, and managed by a totally grassroots organization, something that had never happened before. Meanwhile, throughout Wyoming, the video spread like prairie fire.
The next one I showed it to was to Don Roberts, who's a good friend of my son.
She was telling me about a videotape that she had regarding a greenhouse living. And she would ask that I see it. At the time, she was involved a little bit with the senior center.
Don came up to my apartment and saw the film, and then we got him together with Keith, and Keith made his pitch.
So I volunteered to donate the land to them if they were able to get the project going.
In September of 2006, Dr. Bill Thomas traveled to Laramie, Wyoming to lecture and offer advice to communities interested in his new method of elder care.
I've sort of given up my career as a practicing physician to kind of travel the country in a three-ring circus trying to change long-term care.
Dr. Bill's zeal to change the system comes from a very personal place.
Our family lives the caregiving challenge. Because of our 5 children, our 2 daughters are afflicted with a condition called Odahara syndrome, and they require around-the-clock care. And so we live the issue of caregiving every day in our home and in our family. And so when I talk about these things, I'm not telling you from an academic point of view. I'm telling you what I feel as a father of children who require and will require caregiving for the rest of their lives.
We're both here, Keith Wilson and I, to see Dr. Thomas, talk about the Greenhouse Project, and to talk to him about what we're doing in Sheridan. We hope to learn more and just to have a chance to sit down and talk with him.
So one of the things we want to do with the greenhouse is actually create a living, breathing example in our communities of elders living together and creating a life worth living.
How are we going to keep it from becoming an elitist organization other than living within the Medicaid rules of no discrimination?
You must live within the Medicaid rules of no discrimination. I will tell you something. My mama didn't raise me to do things that only benefit rich people.
Well, there will be an emergence of that from all the entrepreneurs in the world.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
But that's not my work, is seeing that the poorest people, the people who've worked hard their whole life.
God bless you, man.
Well, I'm just telling you. And they're crippled up, and they ought to have a decent place to be in the last 3 years of their life. It's the least we owe them.
Okay.
A serious challenge was the legality of building a greenhouse-type facility under the existing Wyoming laws.
Tell me what law has to be changed.
Well, you can't build a nursing home without a nursing station in it.
Okay.
You can't build a nursing home that allows everybody to come into the kitchen.
You can't build any long-term care beds until you have a certain percent of your market already saturated. So we've got nursing homes in Cheyenne that their rooms will hold 3 beds, but they're only putting 1 or 2 people in the room. So they're never going to reach 85%.
Whatever laws we're staring at right now were made by good people who are trying to work out the kinks in a system. And they stay on the books, and time goes on. And sooner or later, we come to one of those watershed points where the system has to change. And ironically, the things that were meant to sort of make the system work wind up protecting the status quo in a way that's not good for elders. You are going to have to do some legislative work. Now, who is the incumbent governor?
Dave
Friedenthal, he's about to get reelected.
Okay.
You can put that on the tape.
So you go straight to the governor, you get the one house. It helps to sneak up with the governor driving the bus.
We had a chance to talk with him in a small group setting and then more just one-on-one, and we feel like we're headed in the right direction.
It was at this time they were hit by an unexpected tragedy.
Ray was involved and also began to approach the legislature. And about that time, Ray died. And I kind of considered it his last dream for Sheridan.
Ray's death made them more resolved to make greenhouses happen. Carmen and the others reached out to as many government officials as they could.
Carmen Rideout came to me and said, we have this great idea for an improvement in nursing home care in Sheridan, and I'd like to talk to you about it. Could you come over and see me? So I did that, and I don't know how it ended up. I ended up being the only legislator that did that, but that's the way it was. I saw the video that made me want to participate.
An early nagging fear among the group was, what if the concept of greenhouses was too good to be true? The trio went to Tupelo to see for themselves.
How long have you been living here? 4 months?
Right over there on that table.
What do you like about it?
All of it.
All of it?
They've got somebody here that well arranges everything for the water and the lights and
well, we're going to need that too. We're going to need that kind of help.
we decided right then that this really is, all the things that we've heard are true, it's real. We had some concerns about that, I think, it just sounded too good to be true, but we determined that it really was true.
We have really proven to ourselves by actually physically being here, seeing not only the architecture and the buildings, but watching and observing the delivery of service inside those buildings. The model that Dr. Thomas has put forth can be done, and it does work. My conversations with some of the residents in the facilities indicated to me that this is truly a better way. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
The verdict was in. Seeing the Tupelo greenhouses fueled their zeal to overcome obstacles to bring this kind of elder-centered living to Sheridan.
We have zero money, zero organization right now. Are we the first one in line for Wyoming?
Oh, you were definitely the first one in line for Wyoming.
They were interested in our project. However, they too knew it was going to be difficult because we were a standalone organization. But they weren't gonna say no to us. We were pretty persistent.
With no disrespect at all, sir.
I am used to disrespect.
No, not
so don't hold back.
Not from me. We're gonna fill that out, and it's gonna be void of a lot of things that you would look for. And since you now know us up close and personal, we just don't want that to go to a desk drawer someplace and stop, because we're so far off base. We think we're far off base.
Let me tell you that.
We want you to come back to
Let me
us
tell you
and
that
say-
even if we wanted to put it in a desk drawer, do you think that between Dale and Bill it would last very long in that desk drawer?
Well,
I don't think so.
Oh, I feel better. I really do, because of just this few minutes.
Okay.
We're done talking about it. We want to do it. Okay, put your hands in the middle. Now, put them in, and then you go.
No, we go.
While we were in our little informal meeting in Tupelo that afternoon, Carmen and Keith wanted me to take over as president, and I declined. So then they offered me the chairmanship, and I declined. And so then I left to go to the restroom, came back and said, "We want you to be the grand poobah." So I couldn't resist that, and that's that's where we started.
With then State Senator and now Grand Poobah Doug Osborne helping to fill the void left by the death of Ray Clark, the group doubled their efforts to pass state legislation that would allow for greenhouses in Wyoming.
Well, that's a very long and expensive process to show that you need yet another skilled nursing facility. And what the group of volunteers did is, let's just go to the legislature, explain the idea to them, and get an exception to the certificate of need requirement, which they did.
The bill got put together, and I helped with that. It was still on my watch.
We were able to get some legislation passed that was really critical and one of our first hurdles.
Next, they needed to follow Dr. Bill Thomas's advice and get the governor on their side.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm used to speaking at senior centers where I'm standing somewhere between them and the lunch line, and it's become two things become real clear. You better keep your comments short and don't take a seat until everybody else is seated, because if you sit in a seat that somebody's been sitting in for 2 years, it's I don't know how many votes that cost me doing that, but
Governor Friedenthal, I've had the pleasure of knowing him through the Wyoming Association of Senior Project Directors and our work with the legislature and the governor's office.
Now, we'll be up the 4th of July, I think, again this year.
Well, I'll be there. Because of the smaller population, we're able to know people in the right places and not just know their names, but actually sit down and talk to them and form relationships.
And they made me do it in an election year. Oh, my. I mean, it was bad. I thought I was going to lose the county.
And so even though they might be 300 miles away at the state capitol, they know your name, they know what you're doing, and they'll help you get it done.
People don't want to be in nursing homes, and families don't want to put their loved ones in nursing homes. So they're looking for options.
That's exactly what we'd like to overcome right there.
Yeah. It'll be good.
Carmen and this group up there, they have a lot of energy. And if somebody's going to get it done, these guys will get it done.
With the governor now in their corner and state legislation passed that would greenlight the Sheridan project, the next hurdle was raising the money to actually build their dream.
It was our estimate this would be around a $10 million project.
And the only way we had to get that was we had to go out and ask for it.
Getting the right people around the table right from the beginning. All of us bringing more people onto the project.
For 4 years, they were tapping on doors and meeting with people and having coffees and bringing in new people to the fundraising task force that would know other people, and we rocked.
My wife got me involved in it. She was on the board and said, you need to consider being involved. So a little in-house coordination and coercion.
Lots of meetings, lots of phone calls, lots of lists. Dr. Thickman and I were the co-chairs.
I don't know if you know Barbara Walter, but she would walk down the street yelling about greenhouse, or she'd stop her car if she saw somebody she knew and said, have you heard about the greenhouse? And and Dr. Cy Thickman was on that committee.
It's cider. But we have wine for you.
I've been a doc for 65 years, and obviously elder care has been part of my professional career for those many years. I got involved with it because it's a challenge. I got involved with it because it was a community effort.
It was word of mouth. There were stories in the Sheridan Press and Sheridan Media on the radio.
I just happened to say in one newspaper article, well, if every single person would give $1,000 over 3 years, anybody can do that. Almost anybody can do that.
One of the reasons we thought this was going to work in Sheridan is that it's a very giving and generous community. There's several foundations, big foundations here.
When we went and talked to donors, we brought that piece of video with it.
She forwarded me a video disc that explained the concept and showed how folks were cared for in this whole new attitude and environment.
I remember the lady who had stopped talking and feeding herself in a traditional care facility, and it's really emotional. She was moved into a greenhouse, and it showed her sitting at a table feeding herself and singing. She'd found herself, she'd found her voice.
We got an early grant from the Scott Foundation of $500,000, and that was such a big boost to us that it really got us going.
And what better way to help out a community than to honor your elders.
With donations starting to fall in place, next the Sheridan Greenhouse Project needed to borrow from a bank a sum that would be paid back once the greenhouses were running and generating their own income. Banks aren't in the charity business. It's all about the bottom line. Keith explains.
Okay, if we have that much available to us, how much then do we have to borrow? We could begin to put together an analysis of kind of the equity and cash that we would need to put in the bank to match up with money that we could afford to borrow from some lender, and we didn't at that time know who that lender might be.
And then the unthinkable happened.
We start 2009 in the midst of a crisis unlike any we have seen in our lifetime, a crisis that has only deepened over the last few weeks. Nearly 2 million jobs have been now lost.
We were involved in this project when the economy took its big downturn.
Middle of 2009, there was no money to be borrowed from anybody. The markets had closed down, and we all know why. It was not anything we caused, or it wasn't anything to do with the quality of our project, but there just was no money available, no matter how much we paid for it.
Some people said, well, maybe we ought to slow down now. Some of the foundations even said, not sure that it's possible at this point.
They had been told the best thing to do would be to just table the whole thing, put it on the shelf, wait till the economy recovers, and then pick it up.
And we really did have a period of time during this campaign when we thought, you know, are we going to make it?
We had to decide if we were going to go forward and continue to work on this project, or if we were going to put it on hold, or maybe just not continue.
The greenhouse folks are pioneers. It's important to keep in mind a lot of the pioneers ended up dead and buried by the trail.
Life on the range was never easy. The pioneers of old suffered through pestilence and epidemics, droughts, floods, blizzards, and blistering heat. Maybe it's because life in this beautiful state can be so darn difficult that so few remain. Yet the men and women who do call Wyoming their home are tough and ornery. It would take more than a national economic meltdown to fold their tent.
The overwhelming sense and feeling among all the people involved, everybody wanted to keep working on it and thought we could do it.
People said, we're going to make it. We're not going to quit.
We didn't stop. We just continued. We continued to meet. We continued to strategize, talk about where we might find more rocks that we could push over and or pull over and see what was under them.
Regroup. Another list. Start over. Clean piece of paper. More phone calls. New leads.
3 a.m. in the morning, sitting at my computer, trying my best to see if I can figure out how we can make our assets work better.
We can do it, we can do it. We stuck through it through some ups and downs.
Like an old Zane Grey Western. Just when the wagons were circled and the pioneers' fate rest in the hands of the Almighty, the cavalry galloped in, just in the nick of time.
That is why I have moved quickly to work with my economic team and leaders of both parties on an American recovery and reinvestment plan that will immediately jumpstart job creation and long-term growth.
Along came a resource, controversial or not. The resource was one of federal money. It was an administration's attempt to keep the economy turned around, keep it going back, and it was what was called stimulus money. And it was channeled available to us through U.S. Department of Agriculture Rural Development.
I remember driving home and I think I heard it on the radio. I was heading out on the highway to my house and the mountains were ahead of me, and I heard the news release that we got the money that we needed to go forward, and I thought to myself, well, I think I'm going to live here for the rest of my life now. This is a good place.
Late in the afternoon on a cold and blustery November day, 5 long years since introduced to the concept, the people of Sheridan broke ground on their very own pioneer homes on the range.
The groundbreaking, it was just such an exciting moment for the community. And here we were out there with the wind blowing. We could see the mountains. It's a beautiful setting. I thought the turnout was excellent. The governor-elect and the current governor were there.
In order to take advantage of what little sunlight is left, so I would ask the new governor.
You're blocking this. I'm sorry.
The old governor. Well, I am allowed to do that. You know, I may be older, but I've kept my hair longer. I don't know which one he's talking about. It's one of the great things about Wyoming. This is a place when somebody sees something that needs doing, some group or some set of people step up and get it done. And they get it done, whether it's hard. You are Wyoming pioneers in an effort to cause us as a state to rethink how we treat those who have treated us so good in our life, but we can treat them equally well in their golden years. So thank you very much for what you do. God bless you, and a special thanks to Doug Osborne.
Yay! Let's get it going here.
After the speech is made short by the darkness and cold, the gang was eager for some hot chili and to begin building their dream.
We've got at least another year in front of us a very serious year of putting this thing together.
I was on the building committee since I'm having trouble getting around, and Keith has still been hauling me around to get me to the meetings, either he or Carmen.
In the next couple of months, construction will be well underway. We'll begin to see some real visible signs that progress is being made.
Okay, it's 1:30 on the afternoon of a Monday, September 26th. In the background, you will see the state of the houses. It's just amazing, I think. We've been looking at these drawings for years, and it's great to finally see construction on the ground and going well and looking very nice. And we have a good crew here. I come up here at least 2 times a week, maybe more often. It's a 120-mile round trip for me. I whine about that every place I go. All of this work that the board and task force have done is all volunteer labor. Thousands of details that all of us have had to deal with and things that we've run into that there is no pattern for us to follow. So we've sort of invented it as we went, and at the same time it is also a very satisfying job, definitely for me. I just have been delighted to do this, and it's taken a little longer than I would have liked. It's about 5 years now.
Even during construction, it was important to keep the townspeople of Sheridan informed about the progress of the project and why the greenhouses will significantly improve the lives of elders.
The residents here will be allowed to come in and assist in the food preparation to the extent that they're capable. They're welcome to do that. Not forced to, but they're welcome to, and we encourage it because that's part of what they did in their home, and this is their home. I'm up there frequently during the week, at least 2 to 3 times a week. When I was caring for my wife at home, cared for her in our home for 5 years before she went into the nursing home and was there nearly 7 years before her passing. My wife received very good care in the nursing home, but the environment and the way the system is managed is archaic and needs to be changed, and greenhouse living is changing that. I've devoted myself to this project in memory of my wife. When the world finds out what's going on in Sheridan, Wyoming, there will be shockwaves throughout the entire nursing industry of this country.
I go out to the site every month to see progress by myself on a Sunday. And I walk through regardless of whether it's allowed or not. And then I cry. Happiness, you know, it's great, it's amazing. They have to have names on the cottages legally. And so we're gonna go over to the little mom and pop store, the Trophy Case. We wanna make sure that these cottages are named after those foundations that gave $500,000 or more towards this project. I think we could even go a little smaller, don't you?
We probably could, although you don't want it too awfully small. But I mean, that's up to you.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to make it so we can afford it.
Okay.
Have you been up there yet to see it?
My husband and I drove up there the other day and just kind of saw where we weren't supposed to go, but we did. Exiting, we saw the sign. But it looks like a wonderful setup. I have a mother who is 90, pushing 91. She'll be 91 in February. But she is now in a nursing home, but this would be excellent for her.
Simultaneous with construction was finding and training the very special people who would staff and manage the greenhouses. One of the first hired was Chris Zamansky.
Well, this is going to be our temporary location until we get the administration building built and all the cottages. But here I will be transitioning from just me as the sole person, and we're going to be hiring our office staff. And in this location, we'll be starting to develop the culture that we're going to need to take with us to the homes.
I tell them that right now I'm the director of nursing for no nurses. We don't have anybody on board. We're in the process of hiring.
Some of the people that we'll be looking for will be highly specialized, whether it's nursing or finance people, and so we'll be casting a wide net.
And the greenhouse living is a phenomenal concept, and I'm so proud and happy to be part of it. My poor leg was going 100 miles an hour under my desk, and I was smiling from ear to ear. I said yes, and immediately went into a friend's office and said, I got it, I got it, I got it.
Time is going to start really flying by. So we started putting just sticky notes up so that we could see when we're going to be doing the first hiring.
Anyone out there that is trained as a CNA or as a nurse, please go to our website at www.sheridangreenhouse.org. Download an application.
I've got my application now. I turn into Kay Wallach on Monday. When I was 12, my mom died, and I always look at each individual lady or gentleman as a mother figure, a grandmother figure.
My grandma raised me. She was from Czechoslovakia. She spoke no English. And they named me Teresa after Mother Teresa, and I always followed one of Mother Teresa's kind words, which is, kindness is my religion.
My mom was a postmaster at a rural post office for most of my life. I often hear stories about what a kind, friendly postmaster she was. She really didn't ever want to go to a nursing home. She just had a negative feeling about it. And when she got there, she just closed her eyes and refused to eat, and she passed away a week later. But yes, memories of how she felt are part of the reason that I've been interested in the greenhouse living model and philosophy, and why I got into nursing, and why I'm looking forward to being a part of this house, this home.
All CNAs and nurses hired to work in the Sheridan greenhouses must attend a month of intense Shabazz training. Greenhouse Project Resource Development Director Anna Ortegara, sent by the national organization, oversees the instruction.
Coming to Sheridan and getting to know the staff who will be in these first greenhouse homes is so special. When you realize this is a truly grassroots greenhouse project, even the two greenhouse educators, Kay and Carmen, oh my goodness, they came to the greenhouse educator program, they learned all about the model, all about the education, and they undertook becoming greenhouse educators. They were the leads on teaching these new staff members, and they are volunteers from the town. How special is that?
We're going to have a full week of culinary training, 8 hours a day for the Shabazim. We'll be actually learning how to use all the equipment in the home, the lifts.
It was grueling class time, so to speak.
Today the first group graduated from Greenhouse Living for Sheridan, and amazing Shabazim and nurses.
We got flowers and more hugs and smiles and tears.
And they were pledged that they are now, the Shabazim are the managers of the home.
We got together in a big circle and did a elders rule cheer. We're at the point where we have almost both pieces, the beautiful green small cottages and then the wonderful people that are committed to protecting, sustaining, and nurturing elders here in beautiful Sheridan, Wyoming.
The first elders, themselves pioneers, begin to arrive, testing the mettle of the newly trained staff and freshly built homes.
You're the first one here. Somebody else is moving in today, but you're the first one here. I went up and I got nobody else has moved in yet? No, just you.
You're talking about just this table?
The whole place, you're the first one.
Is that right?
Yeah. First one to ever live here.
Today we moved Aunt Evelyn into this facility. She's 100 years old, and we wanted to have her in a much more homey environment.
When we found the greenhouse, though, we thought it would be really nice. And an added benefit to the greenhouse is that because it's a nonprofit, it costs the same as the nursing home does, but they can do so much more with the money because it isn't going to a corporately owned company.
Evelyn moved into her room and she said, "Oh, this is so nice. This is a beautiful room." And she likes it, and she's only been here a couple hours.
My name is Wayne Ransbottom. I am retired, living in the Sheridan County, Wyoming. And my father is currently in assisted living in Sheridan, Wyoming, and soon will become one of the first residents in the greenhouse in Sheridan.
We'll make 2 or 3 trips to get all your stuff. Yeah, I think the most important package to deliver right now is you.
Because of the Alzheimer's with my father, every day and every event is a new experience. Even though I've had some discussion with him, I'm always a little nervous because it's going to be change, and he will have, I'm sure, some hesitancy. I was worried that he might be hesitant to come. And he is. I mean, he's leaving some good friends that he's developed the last 3 years that he's been in assisted living.
Wilbur, we're gonna miss you.
Well, not as much as I'm gonna miss you.
You take care, okay?
Oh, well.
Okay, I'm to the left over here. I've got Barbie's car.
Sure like this place.
I know it, and they're awful good folks. But I think you're gonna like Greenhouse even better. It's gonna be a change.
I was worried that he would not be comfortable.
Got it?
Got it?
All right.
Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning. Come on in.
Dad, this is Carmen. Carmen Rideout. She's
Carmen?
Carmen.
Carmen. Oh, hello, Carmen.
Wilbur, it's nice to meet you.
Warm my hands up for you.
Oh, thank you.
The staff helps Wilbur and Wayne acclimate.
That's all right.
Memory.
Happens to all of us.
Memory doesn't function that well.
Well, you're here now. What do you think?
I gotta think already.
Well, I'm going to ask. Yeah, you got to think already.
Are you worn out? No?
No, I'm fine.
Sometimes it's exhausting moving, huh?
Well, he's kind of running things for me.
Nice.
I'm glad you trust me. The transition is important to me because I care so much for my father. And I want him to have a place like this to live in, where I can be close, and but not have to worry, and have him part of an extended family like the greenhouse.
A couple weeks later, Shabazz and family celebrate Wilbur's first birthday at the greenhouse.
Happy birthday, dear Wilbur. Happy birthday to you. This one's all yours. Blow the candle out. Yeah. On a one.
It says, wishing you a day to rest, relax, and enjoy the pleasures of a special birthday. Have a great day.
That's great.
I kind of sputter, but it's a great relief to make this transition because this will be most likely his final home.
And yeah, who knew, when we went to Tupelo that we'd be here today. And it's one of those things that people's days are over will, really look back and think this was really a great thing to do. Yeah.
Onwards, guys.
Onward.
Let the celebration begin.
We'll be inviting people from all over the state to come up and tour 2 of our cottages to show them what this model, this new way of providing long-term care is all about.
Here's the hairdresser.
The nurses have knobs down here where they can do their documenting.
Each house has a different theme, so this one is kind of the Cowboy Joe themed house.
Oh.
Let us rejoice!
Let us rejoice!
For the elders who come to this special place. We dedicate this greenhouse of living space. To the glory of God. And to the special care of our elders. Amen. You did a good job.
I really do believe that this may be the only place in the country that this could have started as a community-led project. When I first met Doug and Carmen and Keith at a workshop in Tupelo, Mississippi in 2005, I knew almost immediately that this was a community organization that would succeed. The first thing that told me that was that they marched right down to the front row of the workshop and sat right in front of me. Almost no one has done that before or since. I could tell from the very first moment that I met them that they represented an organization that had a passion to deliver something very different to the people they cared most about, their community in Sheridan, Wyoming. I assume that audacity is a Wyoming trait, and that you had to be fairly audacious for your forebears to move here as pioneers, and that has carried through in the culture. And that is, I think, what has given you the courage to move forward on this project. Congratulations again for the skill, the perseverance, and the sacrifice that were necessary to convert your vision into the first community-led skilled nursing home greenhouses in the United States. Congratulations.
Here's to a great day. Thanks to a great team. Doing a great thing in a great community.
Seasons pass. Winter turns to spring, turns to summer, turns to fall, and the cycle repeats. A year after the opening, we returned to Sheridan on several occasions to peek in on life in the greenhouses now that the routines were established and the spotlight had dimmed a bit. Time to observe the Shabazz and elders interacting and find out if Dr. Bill Thomas's vision of a place where elders can continue to grow had taken root in Wyoming.
Hi there. Welcome to room 311.
311, but
There's
what's this
311.
over here?
This is a dustpan from my grandmother and grandfather's license plate. They had it for years, and I made a dustpan out of it.
What else is going on in your room?
Well, we have a lot of birdhouses. I think right now there's 22 of them in here. The paints that I have are all water-based, so they're not poisonous or anything like that. We sell them and give them away for prizes and stuff like that. Now, I'm going to show you some spices that the cooks use. They have them up there, they're drying them, but here is a bunch of them. But I just grow them, and we had them out here in the planters, and then I brought them in here so that we'll have, or this winter, put in salads and soups and stuff like that. This is our flower garden, peppers and tomatoes and that type of thing. We have everything covered right now because of the frost. We have all kinds of activities. People come in for music, they come in for, we had one guy come in that was a historian on the old mountain men.
I was born in Montana. We moved to Sheridan, 35
So that's a couple of years. I married pretty young, and I just was a stay-at-home mother. And we lived out, we built our home out on Big Goose. But I did garden work and lots of my husband and a little horse he made. But he had horse pictures go all over the world. This is a statue he did up at for the Sheridan High School. He never had any kind of education in that. He just started in.
I tried different nursing homes, and they weren't like this one is. This one is you can go out on the patio by yourself and do different things.
We finally got it temped. Lunch is ready if you're ready.
All right, I'll be in pretty soon.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you.
What makes it different is that the elders come first and that we put the elders first in our house. We ask them what they want. We don't tell them what they want.
I'm a Sheridan native, and so several of the elders, I have either known them in my life or I've known some of their family.
Hi, Ada. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Are you?
Yeah.
Good. How's your shoulders doing?
Well, they ate, but they always will, so.
Well, you haven't had anything for pain for a while. If you wanted to give me a number, what would you say on your shoulders?
Oh, I'd say around 6, 7.
Okay.
They're aching, but not that bad. So.
All right. Feel like a pain pill would be good for you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they always are.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go get something for you. You want me to meet you in your room, or you want me to meet you back here?
Right now we have one nurse for potentially 24 elders. Go back and forth between the homes. We dress down. We're not in uniforms. We're fitting right in with the household.
You take the typical nursing home, all the medical stuff is in your face, and you take the greenhouse, and the medical stuff is there, but it's all put to the side so you can concentrate on living.
Each elder has a locked cabinet in each of their rooms. This is for our laptop. We bring in our laptop, pull up their MAR, tells us what medications are due, when, and we dispense from here.
These are our pagers that we use instead of having bells and whistles all the time. It vibrates 100% better than a nursing home.
The elders each have their own rooms and their own private bathrooms, so they have a quiet area and a space to be by themselves.
One person per room. I figure if you're an 80-year-old Wyomingite and you have given your life and your love and your labor to your community and your state, you shouldn't have to share a toilet with a stranger. I mean, come on.
Another one came from a traditional nursing home and cried, he said, every night. And since he's been here, he's been active, hasn't been crying, and just loves it. This is rewarding for me spiritually, emotionally, and even physically, to see how the elders are themselves physically getting stronger. I'm thankful that this came to Sheridan and that I was a part of it from the beginning.
Not all the greenhouse residents are blessed with Jerry's sharp mind and can-do energy. Many struggle with physical and/or mental challenges.
At her age, she's still young, and this is not the life that she would have dreamt of, but we all have a story, as my daughter says.
I was diagnosed with MS in 1980. I was given 5 years to live, and in that time I should go blind. And I didn't have any symptoms until 2005, and then the symptoms set in. The greenhouse gave me an attitude of wanting to live, whereas before I was thinking I really didn't care anymore.
And I just see a lot of growth. She was in one here in town, and they had kept her so tranquilized that when I would go to see her, she was either slumped over in her chair or in bed asleep.
And now up here, I'm not on any pain pills. I'm just on vitamins. And I really like that.
Life is hard and it's not fair, and if you don't have somebody that you can trust to help you through those things and come alongside you and encourage you and pick you up, it's not going to be very easy to get through life at any age.
I come from Utica, New York. I popped in months ago or more.
Isabel?
Yes,
Is that you?
that's me.
Is that your room in there?
I'm not sure. I was looking whether it was this room, this room.
Even the frailest, most demented, most feeble elder can grow. 80% of the people using institutional long-term care in America have significant cognitive impairment. It's actually this minority who do not have cognitive impairment.
I don't know what this is. I don't know what this
And
is.
who is still in your house?
My father and mother are there.
Uh-huh.
It's their house.
Right.
And they're in the city some, but now this time of year they're in the country. Which is very nice. Have boating and fishing, those kind of things. I don't know what that is. Where that came from, I don't know.
People don't want to be around strangers with dementia. What happens in the greenhouses is we are working, living, working, being with 8 or 9 other people, and that when you do that, you come to know those people as human beings. The point, though, is that you want to be in a community that won't kick you out if you start forgetting things.
Suffering from dementia, Isabel is a stranger in her own life. The Shabazim work to ease Isabel's anxiety.
You're not going anywhere. You're going to stay and have your supper with us.
You sure?
Yeah. We're having chicken soup and some beans.
Who said?
Well, you're staying for your birthday. Your birthday's on Monday.
I didn't know I was staying for my birthday.
She gets cherry pie. Pecan pie.
I didn't know I was staying till Monday.
Yes, he's got your birthday planned.
You were born in 1920. Right there at the beginning of a big history thing, the Roaring 20s. So you're going to be 92 years old. Does that sound right?
Sounds right.
So on Monday you're going to be 92.
Just always here for them. We entertain them. We watched, last Saturday we watched Lawrence Welk. It was fantastic. Isabel loved that. We found it on there and she just thought that was fantastic. She was in there patting her foot, and then there's an English program that came on and she loved that. And Wilbur, he likes to watch sports.
Tell me, what does it take to get to be 92?
Just stand up and don't let people tell you what to do.
I'm Daylene Rowe, and this is my mom. Mom, can you tell them what your name is?
Mary.
Mary Fisher.
Mary Fisher.
This is my mom's room. This is the room that my sister and I picked out for her. That's my mother and father on their wedding day. They were married on Valentine's Day. My dad could never forget that anniversary. Dad passed away, and that left Mom. But you know, it's just something that you do. What's your dog's name, Mom?
Chelsea.
Mary, congratulations.
Do you remember that day, Mom, on your 90th birthday when the girls came?
Mm-hmm.
And you had quite the gab session in there in the den, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Cake and coffee. She was totally surprised. That was a fun day. She took care of us, and we needed it, so we take care of her. But it's very, very emotional. Yeah, a lot of tears. It gets easier if you know that she's safe, she's happy, and she's loved here.
Let's talk for a minute about the 96-year-old man in advanced dementia, incontinent, can't eat, can't speak, can't move, can't recognize apparently really any family member. Okay, how can you say that person is not a burden? And I'll tell you, here's why that person is not a burden. That person, in being there for us to care for, teaches us how to live like human beings. Human beings are the only species on Earth who have ever nurtured, tended, and honored its frail elders. That is the miracle of human life, right there.
I like it here. I think it's very nice.
They make you feel warm and welcome.
It has a homey atmosphere, and that's great.
It's just like a home. A lot of friends.
I called you. I was out here. I didn't hear you. I called you from the doorway. Oh. You were watching the cameraman. Oh, yeah.
Good morning.
On one summer visit, we unexpectedly encountered a familiar face.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Well, I haven't found out yet.
Hank Songer, one of the early champions of the project, who 8 years ago secured the land donation on which the homes were built, now calls this greenhouse her home.
How long have you been here?
3 days.
3 days? What do you think so far?
They do a good job.
Yeah? Are they taking care of it? Go ahead.
Oh, yes.
Hank reminisces about her life.
My grandfather had a shop here for the wide horseshoes, and that's my father and my mother. And the little oval, that's me as a baby, and my dog, my father's hunting dog. The little guy that's over there with the grin on his face, the cowboy and the little boy husband and my son.
Hank published her memories of Sheridan and the stories of the people she's known in her book, The View from My Soapbox by Hank Songer.
To all who I may have shown the beauty of Wyoming's mountains, I can only say, enjoy in peace.
Hank's story continues at the greenhouse. She is one of a community connected to this special place.
You know, the stories that can be told in this environment, and I just think it's wonderful that people will have the opportunity to sit down next to an elder, to listen to their story, and to be able to tell their own story as well.
Hank, you're here. You made it to heaven. You're at the greenhouse. That was always a dream. It's my dream too, someday to end up here. That'd be great.
Well, it was the dream of several people, good people who are willing to share.
But we couldn't have done it without you, you know.
Oh, I think you could.
No, you were an integral part of bringing us the land that we could build on in this beautiful spot.
Hank has another surprise visitor. Why, it's Don Roberts, who she convinced 8 years ago to donate the land.
Don, seeing you here probably made it all worthwhile for him.
He came up and put his arm around me and gave me a hug. It was like my own son.
How are you?
Oh, I'm getting by.
I haven't seen you for.
I know.
I didn't even know you were here.
Well, I've only been here. This is my third day, I think.
After what he gave and how you inspired him and you being here, it all makes sense. It's about love and caring.
And it was especially nice for me to see Don again because I hadn't seen him for so long. And since my son has passed on, I don't have any occasion to see him.
You done good.
You done good. Drive up here on this hill that used to just be a hill with some grass and some weeds, and the project that's back here now, the buildings are beautiful, and it's an amazing accomplishment that people did with the senior center. But we were just inside, and the amazing part of it is inside, the life after life almost that has provided these seniors.
I wish for Sheridan that every elder who lives in these homes and every staff member who works in these homes have truly good lives, that they live and grow and thrive in the words of Dr. Bill Thomas, that we understand that they are all creative, resourceful, and whole, and that their lives will be better for having been in relationship with each other.
Well, I know that Ray would just be so proud of where this idea has gone and how it's grown and developed. I think maybe beyond even what he had hoped.
I think this greenhouse is extraordinary.
I feel very content if something happens to me that Steph will be well taken care of up here. And I wouldn't have said that before.
It just makes me just feel good knowing that I'm helping them and that they're not alone. And if I had it to do over again, it would be the same career. I've always been a caregiver since I was 12, and I continue being a caregiver in the hereafter.
I feel like I have some ownership in this along with many, many other people in this community. It's not a project that is owned by any big corporation, it's owned by the people.
I know there's a need for caring places for our elders, but nursing homes aren't the answer. Greenhouse is the answer, we hope.
These greenhouse folks, they're pioneers. Somebody has to come along from time to time and break the mold and say, let's start over again. And that's what the greenhouse does, is a recognition that there's a better way.
It's taken us a little bit longer than we thought it was going to take. And as those of us that have been working on this project from the beginning reminisce about all that we've been through, we laugh and we cry. And in the end, we believe it's been worth it.
I'm glad that it's been recorded for others to know just what they have here. And take care of it.
When our youngest son was little, he was really mad at us one day, and he told us that when we were old, he was going to put us in a nursing home. So the joke in our house is that we're building our own nursing home so that we can be treated well when our son puts us in a nursing home.
As of November 2014, there are 156 greenhouse homes built by 35 organizations in 25 states. Another 160 are in development in an additional 6 states.